So I want to introduce a video process that I have done to this guitar. This is my D'Angelico Gramercy Premier, and this is a very nice guitar. And let me put it this way: they come to you new in very good shape and very playable and ready to go. That said, this one didn't, only because it was brand new, but I got a deal on it because the neck was broken and I fixed the broken neck. So you can watch that video as a different video where I glued the whole shebang back together and got it all working again. But it still was a brand new Gramercy, and I got a nice price on it, which I was happy with, and it wasn't a horribly difficult repair. So very nice guitar with really, I like the tone. The finish work on it is very nice. I like Sunburst. I'm a fan of Sunburst guitars, so there's always that. It's got a beautiful back, all of that. And the changes I make on this can be changed back and forth all you want without damaging the guitar. So that's why I thought it'd be a fun video to do. So in the process of the video, what you're going to see, I will play it with a bone saddle and the original composite nut. I will also play it with a saddle with fret wire in the saddle for the strings to ride on with the composite nut. Then I will change the nut to a brass nut, and I will play it with a brass nut and a bone saddle. Then I'll expand the slots in the guitar on the strings to get better contact with the ball end of the string against the top of the guitar. We'll see what that does. I'll do that with the bone saddle. Then I'll change to the saddle with fret wire again. And then the last thing I'll do is put the solid brass saddle in. As it sits here, this is the intro, but I've already done all that work. So I hope you enjoy this video and the process, and that it just becomes a helpful thing for you. Bone saddle. So now we're facing the next step. This was the composite nut that came with the guitar. Uh, it's not really plastic. These composites are a little different than that, and at times they're used on saddles. This is a nut, of course, I understand that, but they're used on saddles because there's more consistent tone transferred to the electronics. In this case, it was the nut, and there's no reason to change it because honestly, it was perfect. I'd already lowered it and set it up just right, all of that, and the measurements came out just the way I want them. That said, I want to experiment, so I'm going to put this brass nut on instead. And this is one of those adjustable string height nuts, and so I could have I got it for free, so that's cool. But I could get a brass nut that you have to file and sand and work on, or I could just put this in and adjust the screws for the string height. And it's the same size as this. So it's really a perfect choice for me. It may not be for everyone. So let's see, if I put them together, you see they're set up the same and they're the same thickness in each direction. This is supposedly for a Gibson Les Paul or their SG. And it just so happens it's the right size for the acoustic guitar neck on my D'Angelico. So that's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna stick that on, adjust it to where I like the playability, and we'll see what the sound difference is. When you're adjusting that, what I do at the nut, I have 4 feeler gauges. I use 3 at the nut. And my goal with the bigger strings, the E and the A string, I have a 20 thousandths feeler gauge. For the D and the G, I have an 18 thousandths. And for the B and the E, I have a 16 thousandths. That's my goal. Of course, at the 12th fret for string height at the saddle, the bridge string height, that's 6/64 is where I like the large strings, and about 4 or 5 on the higher, on the B string and E string. And then the neck relief, I use this. This is a 10 or 10 thousandths. I use that. And the guitar is already kind of set up like that. It's just the nut that has to be set up, and it's just turning screws. So we'll see how that goes in a little bit. I'll have a clip playing the guitar with the bone saddle and a brass nut. Then I'll make some more changes. I'll talk about that before I do. And we're going to make a couple changes and just leave the bone nut in for a while. And I'll go back to the plastic nut with the fret wire after I make a couple more changes that we'll talk about. And eventually we'll try a brass saddle and see what that does. It's all just for the sake of experimentation and having a little fun. Brass nut, bone saddle. The next step that I'm planning is I'm going to do some adjustment to the string slots at the pins. And the idea is creating the right amount of attack. Now, what I will say, I like the D'Angelico bridge, not just because it has that Art Deco shape, but it's because it's layered and the strings come out of there at a fairly steep attack on the saddle. And I like that. That helps with positive sound and connection, etc. But as I understand it, if you slot the string slot for these, where these pins go in the holes, a little deeper so that the string goes all the way in the slot and the ball end pulls up against the top of the guitar, almost so that the strings would stay in place without the bridge pins. You get a better connection of the strings to the top, which is the part of the, what I think of as a wooden bellows that moves up and down to produce good sound. And at that point, you no longer want slotted pins. Now, you don't have to get new pins. You just, these brass pins, I can just turn them around and let the slot of the pin face the tail end of the guitar, and there'll be no slot on the string side. And that allows the strings to pull up right against the top of the guitar. Let's see if that improves the sound over what we just heard. And I'm making that change with the bone saddle. The next step after that, I'll put the saddle with the fret wire in it back in. We'll listen to that. And then I'll put a brass saddle in and we'll listen to that. And out of all those configurations, we can see which one's making the most tone. So I'll get to work and we'll see what happens. I might mention, I've done that. I've slotted this and moved the bridge pins around just like I planned to. I might mention that I'm starting to lose strings. I tying them together with the ends of old strings. This was an old set when I got started. I didn't want to use a new set because, you know, as you take them on and off, on and off, on and off, the strings just start breaking, and I didn't want to do that. So that's what happened. So let's do that tune and see if we hear a difference. So the next step is to loosen the strings again. I'll put the saddle in that has the fret wire. I'll play the ditty. Then I'll put a brass saddle in, play the ditty. We'll see what we hear, and that'll be it. So we've changed the saddle. Now it's back to the fret wire inserted in a saddle. And we'll do the ditty. I bet you're getting tired of that tune. I'm starting to. And we'll see if the strings last. We're getting a lot of ties together up there. But the next step, I'm going to stick a solid brass saddle in there and see if it changes. Here we are. The old strings are holding together. After this video, the thing to do will be to put the new set of strings on I have. But I think it's sounding really good for old strings that I've broken several times and are tied together. So we have the brass nut, we have the brass saddle, and I've slotted the string slots in the bridge. So this is the final configuration that I have to work with today. Just as I hadn't really mentioned it, we are completely unplugged. So this is how it sounds acoustically. So be interesting to know which configuration you like. It doesn't, like I said, it's variable. It's up to each person to decide what configuration speaks to them. Now you know, if you do some of these things to your guitar, the changes it makes in sound, and you can decide to do that or not. It's up to you. I'm done making changes for the day, and I will decide after watching these clips which one I like the best. I don't know yet. And I will put brand new strings on. So till the next time, Lord bless you, and I hope you enjoyed the video.